The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? If you're going to snitch on someone, it might be a good idea if they weren't a ridiculously connected and very well-funded mob boss. That's a recipe for a choppy flight, as Amber and Scott discuss after watching Flight Risk. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
Oh, get ready for super opinionated Scott. We're going to have opinions today.
Really? Isn't that who always shows up to the podcast?
Sometimes I'm a little more laissez-faire than I'm going to be today.
Okay. Well, we are talking about Flight Risk for today's episode. It is about a pilot who is transporting an air marshal who is accompanying a fugitive to trial. And as they cross the Alaskan wilderness, tensions soar and trust is tested as not everyone on board is who they seem.
That's a shitty introduction. It's not your words.
No,
You're reading it.
No. Sometimes these synopses are not very good.
Yeah, someone is not good at their job, and whoever wrote that is one of those people. So I guess I don't know a lot of henchmen / pilots, because clearly this guy was a henchman one. That he just happened to know how to fly planes.
Mark Wahlberg's character, yeah.
I don't know.
You could be making runs for the contraband and stolen goods.
Okay, sure.
And know how to have a pilot.
Yeah,
license.
but again, this is the weird thing is that, okay, he's a pilot, but I don't know. Couldn't he have just used his own airplane at that point or somehow? Because
why do you think he has an airplane in Bethel, Alaska? Why his own plane?
I guess.
Or is this the quality of shooting holes and things that we're going to get here?
No.
Okay.
No, not
Next.
Not at all.
Next.
Okay. So I'm good with the fact that the marshal kept what's his name? Who's the Winston?
Yeah.
I'm good with the fact that she kept Winston locked up at first, at least, for sure.
Chained up. Yeah.
Yeah. But as soon as Mark Wahlberg proved to be
who is the henchman pilot,
little murder boy. Yeah, I am analyzing that scenario and going, who do I think is the bigger threat here? The accountant who's going to be testifying against the person who they are trying to prosecute, or the person who's trying to murder us both. So at that point, you just have to say, okay, this is the situation. This is my ally. This is not my ally. You unchain him, and you use all of those chains, and you chain Marky Mark up completely.
Well, she did use the bigger chains, almost the snow chains, to do that the first time. I'm not sure how they were used because I saw them playing with them, but then I actually didn't see them on the pilot.
Yeah, no,
later.
They didn't put him on the pilot. They tie wrapped him, hands and feet, and then handcuffed that. Now, yes, this is a pretty good setup that you've gotten here, but you're dealing with someone who you know is a henchman. And let me tell you, if you're a henchman, you've probably figured out a few, tricks.
Yeah, and he was a scary henchman in the fact that he seemed to be really excited about hurting them.
Yeah. So when Winnie, as I believe he was referred to as Winnie, wanted to come up into the passenger seat, I am, if I'm the marshal, telling him, no, we'll talk. It's cool. It's no offense. Your job is to sit in the same seat you've been doing and watch the pilot. Just keep an eye on him. That's all you have to do. Just watch him.
Yeah, they were both basically in the front seat, so to speak, and he was in the back. And as he was in the back, he was busy getting himself loose twice.
Precisely. You don't screw around with this. You keep an eye on Murder Boy back there and make damn good ensure that nothing happens, because they did it twice.
The pilot got loose twice, yeah.
Also,
so your what would you do is that you would make the witness the situation and keep an eye on the psycho pilot.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, as soon as the murder boy, I'm just calling him Murder Boy now, started flapping his gums, trying to play psychological games. Like, dear God, I felt like that was something straight out of the WWE going on there. Like, oh, look, you're past, and is it true? Don't listen to Murder Boy. I would have gone back there. I would have taken the taser, and I would have zapped his ass unconscious again. And if he wanted to wake up and start talking again, I'd go back and I'd zap his ass unconscious again. I would continue to repeat this process until he either learned to shut up, stayed unconscious, or just died.
You are taking this, what would you do, very seriously on this episode.
I am, because I feel like there's a higher bar for a U.S. Marshal than there is, say, for, I don't know, just normal people.
Yeah.
And there,
She was busy accusing the wrong people of being moles and getting her boss killed. So
yeah, in fairness, I think the director, you're not generally assuming is going to be the mole, because if the director,
the FBI director or the marshal director,
yeah, whatever, if he's your mole, you have much bigger problems.
yeah,
Like you have no ability to trust anyone at that point. So
yeah, because everything from that point down is potentially tainted.
yes. So let me also get to the point of the morphine. Okay.
Okay.
So for one, morphine is not truth serum. You don't start blabbing about whatever just because you're on morphine. You've seen me on morphine.
Okay.
Have you not?
I guess I don't know what drugs they pump you.
You
for
have
when
seen.
you go to the hospital.
You have seen me on. I believe you've seen me on morphine. Yes. So it's
Okay,
not a truth serum, but
let's make sure we know what we're talking about here. So Winston is stabbed twice.
yeah, he got
by
stabbed by Murder Boy.
Murder Boy. Yes, and there's a first aid kit, and the what's her face?
Marshal.
The marshal gives him some morphine.
Yes. Now, for one, a first aid kit with morphine in it. Jesus, that's some pretty hardcore stuff.
Yeah, you don't pick that up at Walmart.
Yeah, no, not generally. But number two, so if you go in and you get the jab, like
A COVID shot.
COVID shot, flu shot, any of those vaccines, hitting that shit in the arm, no problem. Now, I'm not a doctor, but
No, if only.
I'm fairly certain I know how morphine works. If you inject somebody in the muscle, in the arm, with morphine, that's not going to do a damn thing. The only way it's going to actually work is you have to get it into the bloodstream. That means you have to inject them in a vein. You can't just jam it in their arm. and I'll look this one up later, and maybe I can have a listener just tell me in the comments how I'm completely full of crap. But
It sounds like what you're saying is what would you do is that when you're trapped in a plane with Murder Boy and a witness, and you're fearful that your plane is going to go down, that you would enroll in some sort of medical school to be able to administer the morphine correctly?
she's a U.S. Marshal. I'm sorry. I have a higher standard for them knowing how to be able to do things.
Give a morphine shot? Well, it worked.
No, it didn't.
It did.
No, it didn't.
In movie magic, it worked.
Yeah, in IRL, it didn't. And I don't know if you know the name of our podcast, is Cinema IRL.
Well, that's for us, not
Not
for the
Cinema
characters.
Movie Magic.
That's for us, not for the people in the films.
Yes. So in real life, he's still in a lot of freaking pain.
Okay. Well, and I don't know what you're talking about with truth serum. He kind of just dozed off a little bit there.
Well, yeah,
he didn't
but
start
before that,
telling
he
us
was
his
like,
his bank pin or anything.
Yeah, he just was talking about, I don't even remember what he said. I just remember thinking it's not freaking truth serum.
No, let's go visit your mom. He wasn't divulging any secrets.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So thumbs down on that one.
I mean, it's fine. I guess if you're on morphine, you're going to be more relaxed. And I guess he was a bit of a chatty Cathy.
He was. He was Eric Foreman all grown up.
Yes. So Hassan? Was that the name of the?
Yeah, the pilot who radioed her to talk her through the process of flying the plane.
He
was a flirt.
Let me hit him for a moment with the what would you do?
He's looking for a date. He was actually trying to add some levity to the situation.
So that's what I was going to say. I think he was masterful in what he did, because obviously if you're not a pilot and you're having to fly a plane and you don't know how to do this, you're going to freak the fuck out.
Yeah. And he did a great job of diffusing that situation
Yeah.
and making little jokes. And
Yeah,
being
he was
flirty and
hitting on her and everything, and like making her uncomfortable, but making her feel uncomfortable in a different way.
yeah.
That allowed her to focus on what needed to happen. I kept wondering at some point though if he was some weird agent that was gonna completely sabotage.
Yeah, I did it as well. And even when she only had 25 gallons of gas left in the plane, and she was like, "Is that a problem?" He's like, No, it's all right.
No, you're fine.
It's all fine."
Yeah, I don't know about that. This is actually interesting because you know me, I'm very influenced by the crap I see on TV.
You're influenced by everything. Yes, you are.
I am.
Highly impressionable.
I really right now want to get my hands on like a good flight sim, and just literally have no idea what the F I'm doing. Put myself basically in that exact scenario where like I'm in a plane. I don't know what I'm doing. I have the controls, I have dials, I have all that crap in front of me. Can I get that plane on the ground? Because
Well, and getting it on the ground, you're still not done. You got to stop that plane before it
yeah,
tumbles.
so you know me. I pride myself on being able to do things I don't know how to do. And I'm usually decent at it. Usually it deals in like the medical or legal fields. Like I've always said, I think in a lot of things I'm very good for an amateur.
Right.
But I mean, I do have some pilot in my blood.
Well, just because your dad was a pilot doesn't mean that you know how to fly
No,
a plane.
I
That's
think it's
not how it works.
I think that's how DNA works, right?
No.
I mean, if he can do it, I can do it.
Well, you probably learn, but no, it's not in your DNA just to know how to do that.
I mean, listen, I don't think it's as easy as driving a car by any freaking stretch. But I just kind of wonder if I'm in that situation, could I get the plane down? Now, obviously, it's a little harder when you have Murder Boy who's making his third pass at killing you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was busy.
So how did I mean, I get the fact that the plane was rattling around. How did the door pop off?
Oh, when they were landing and the plane was bouncing all around.
Yeah, just
and,
the door just pop off.
Well, there was a lot of bouncing and banging around because she didn't have a smooth landing, and that's possible. I mean, those small planes, there's not a lot holding them together.
Yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, it's reasonable. It doesn't feel super realistic, but I suppose, I mean, it's more realistic than putting morphine in someone's arm muscle and expecting that it's going to work. So,
Okay, well, appreciate that, Inside Doctor.
yeah. So, I don't know how many. What would you do?
Well, also, too, I think, what would you do if you were a person who was basically moving money for a mob boss and you were hiding out in the middle of Alaska trying not to be found, and then womp womp, the marshal comes and finds you, and you got to testify, and you know the murder boy there is actually there to take out you. He's happy to take out the marshal, too, but he's got eyes for you.
Yeah. Well, the problem was there wasn't much he could do because at the point that he realized this, he was, detained.
Yeah, he was restrained in the back.
But it was interesting in that when the marshals barged in, he was like, I want to make a deal. I want to make a deal.
Oh,
Like,
when they first found him,
this
yeah.
is something he had thought about. Like he
Of
knew
course,
if
you're
marshals.
you're on the run, of course you're thinking about what happens if.
But see, this is where it gets really interesting because you know that by taking a deal, obviously you're going to make yourself a target.
Oh yeah, mob bosses don't like what people who squeal.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess he knew what the alternative was. I don't know what the alternative was, but he clearly. I mean, I don't know if he was in Alaska to escape the feds or escape the mob boss or both.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get out of town and lay low because nothing good would come from being found.
Yeah.
Because also too, the mob boss was up for trial, and obviously you don't want to be called on to have any part of that in any way. For either side. So.
Yeah, because clearly that guy had plenty of people still running things. Because you have to think that if he's on trial, he probably isn't able to make the phone calls necessary to get the henchman up to BFE Alaska to get him transport. How do you get to BFE, Alaska that fast? I mean, I guess it's easy.
It's actually called Bethel, Alaska.
Bethel, BFE, Bethel. Nice. Well played. No, I mean, I guess if the director was the mole, it's easy enough. But, I mean, I don't know. We don't know how deep the director was. Obviously, the director was an asset and not actually part of the cartel, since he was getting $25,000 a month.
No, he's being paid to probably pass on information and also protection and heads up of, we have this on you, and this person ratted you out. You might want to take this guy out, which all the way up to the very end, that director of the agency actually was still trying to take out the informant.
Yeah, no,
even when he got put in an ambulance and was supposed to be treated for his multiple knife wounds, wound up having a bag put over his face.
Yeah, you've had a hell of a day at that point. And
one of them days.
So, yeah, if I don't know, if I'm the agent, I'm putting in for some vacation time at the end of this. Like I need.
Yeah, if you got your boss killed too, you probably need a couple therapy appointments.
Yeah, I need a mental health day and maybe a 2-week cruise.
Yeah, or a trip to Disneyland.
I got my boss killed. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disneyland!
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.